Hello everyone, today I return with the continuing story of Hoai and Hum. In the previous episode, Du, the biological father of baby Tony, came back after a long period working far from home. This time, he returned with his new girlfriend, tieu. It was also the first time he introduced tieu to Hoai and Hum, the two people who had been by his side during the most chaotic years of his life, when he was still trying to fix his own mistakes and rebuild himself. At first, the atmosphere between them felt a little awkward. Each of them carried their own emotions, regret, guilt, gratitude, and feelings too complicated to put into words. But after a short while, the gentle sincerity of tieu and the calmness of Du slowly dissolved the distance that once seemed impossible to cross. Tony, although still unable to speak, was the one who broke the lingering tension. The little boy crawled over to hug Du, then reached out curiously toward tieu as if wanting to get to know her. That small moment made everyone laugh, and the air instantly became lighter and more comfortable. Hoai smiled and offered her blessing, her eyes filled with peace after everything she had gone through. Hung stepped forward and shook Du's hand, a simple gesture, yet it carried understanding between two men who had once been connected by the same woman and the same child. That afternoon passed in warmth. The four of them, together with Tony, sat as if they were one big family, not bound by blood, but by the hardships they had faced together and the understanding that forgiveness is what keeps people close. The past was gently laid to rest, and the future opened with a new sense of trust, even as each of them continued on their own path. Stay tuned for today's video to see the next emotional chapter of this story. That afternoon, a gentle breeze drifted through the trees, carrying with it the soft fragrance of blooming flowers from the garden beside the small outdoor restaurant. The air held a unique freshness of late afternoons, when the sunlight was no longer harsh, leaving only tender streaks of gold falling onto the ground like the final breath of the sunset. The wedding area was set up outdoors, beneath lush green branches that rustled quietly. Rustic wooden tables were covered with pure white cloths, and beside them were simple chairs decorated with delicate white ribbons. Above, strings of warm yellow lights were woven together, swaying faintly with each passing breeze, casting a gentle, glowing shimmer over the entire space. It was the kind of soft, warm light that made a person's heart loosen with just a single breath. There was no extravagance like grand weddings, no fireworks, no large stage, and no loud music drowning out the voices around. Everything here was small, intimate, and sincere, just like the way Du chose to begin this new chapter of his life. No noise, no showiness, only enough love to move forward. Inside the preparation room, tieu stood before a large mirror bathed in soft afternoon light. She gently adjusted the bouquet in her hands, the white and pink petals trembling slightly with her breathing. Her long wedding dress brushed the floor, swaying with each subtle movement, the lace trimming catching the light and giving her a soft, painting-like appearance. Her hair was tied neatly, though a few loose strands framed her face, adding a tender, pure yet mature beauty. There was a shimmer in her eyes, not entirely from emotion, but from her effort to stay composed. Her heart was beating so fast she had to take several deep breaths to steady herself. Just outside the door, before the ceremony began, Du was standing there, looking as if he had no idea what to do with himself. His hands kept slipping in and out of his pockets, his feet shifting non-stop as though the ground beneath him refused to stay still. He checked his watch, looked around, checked his watch again, all within a few minutes, yet enough for anyone to see how nervous he truly was. He tried to maintain the calm of a seasoned man, yet every small gesture betrayed him, the anxiety, the anticipation, and above all, the swelling happiness he could not hide. The last rays of sunlight fell softly across his shoulders, stretching his shadow on the ground. In that moment, he looked both thoughtful and fragile, like someone who had survived too many storms and was finally able to stand in a peaceful place, waiting for a new door to open in his life. Hung and Hoai stepped into the garden, their hands intertwined out of a habit formed after so many days walking side by side. The path beneath them was covered in soft flower petals that rustled quietly with each step, creating a tender sound like a gentle welcome. Above, strands of warm yellow lights were woven through the branches, their glow falling in soft layers over the couple's faces, making them appear peaceful and radiant, as if they had stepped into a fairy tale made real. Hung carried Tony in his arms. The little boy wore a cream-colored vest that made him look even more adorable than usual. Small as he was, Tony radiated a kind of energy that made anyone who saw him smile. His chubby legs swung lightly with Hung's steps, and his wide eyes darted everywhere, mesmerized by the shimmering lights and the warmth of the celebration. Every now and then, Tony leaned forward, tapping Hung's shoulder with his tiny hands as if urging him to walk faster. He wanted to get closer to everyone. He loved this place already. Even though he still could not speak, every gesture was so vivid and sincere that anyone watching could easily understand how thrilled he was. From a distance, Tieu burst into laughter the moment she spotted him, her smile soft and bright like the lights overhead, warm, glowing, and trembling slightly from the excitement of her wedding day. She bent down, her eyes curving like crescent moons as she reached out her hands, as if inviting the little bundle of joy straight into her arms. "Come here, sweetheart. Come to Mommy Mai." Upon hearing her voice, Tony turned instantly. His sparkling eyes seemed to shine even brighter. He reached his arms toward her, not in a hurry, but with complete trust, as if her embrace had long been a safe haven for him. Hung leaned forward to help Tony shift into her arms, and Tieu welcomed him with a tenderness that softened the entire moment. That simple gesture struck something deep within Du, standing just beside them. Just seeing his son nestling so naturally into Tieu's arms made his heart soften bit by bit. Not because he was overwhelmed, but because he understood. This closeness had not come easily. It had taken time, patience, and countless days of proving themselves to one another through quiet, consistent actions rather than words. Du's gaze lingered on Tony for a long moment. In his eyes was the pride of a father, the gratitude he held for Tieu, and a rare sense of peace he never thought he could reclaim after the years he had lost to his mistakes. Hoai watched the scene, a gentle smile curving her lips. Under the golden lights, her face looked so soft it felt as though even the slightest touch could make this moment shatter like glass. She tilted her head, letting out a light breath before teasing warmly. "Tony really matches the wedding atmosphere today." Her voice floated through the quiet space, making Hung laugh as well. He held Tony securely, his large hand covering most of the boy's back, a steadiness any child would be lucky to lean on. He nodded, his eyes full of pride and unabashed affection. "He's been excited all afternoon. He hasn't stopped smiling since we dressed him." His words drew more laughter from everyone, and for that brief instant, the entire space felt complete. Soft laughter, the rustling of leaves, the warm yellow glow, everything blended together into a simple yet stunning picture. And in that modest setting, each person felt their heart warm, not only because of the wedding, but because of the genuine bond among those who had survived so many storms to finally share a peaceful moment like this. When Du saw Hoai step into the garden, he lowered his head slightly. It was a small gesture, almost unnoticeable, but it carried far more than what appeared on the surface, a hint of awkwardness, a touch of emotion, and above all, a deep gratitude he could not put into words. It was not regret. Regret was something he had carried on his shoulders for so long that it had become part of his past. Today, as he watched Hoai approach with calmness in her expression, he felt only one thing, that he was fortunate. Fortunate that this woman had chosen to let go of the past. If she had not forgiven him, if Hung had not reached out to help him and given him a chance to change, if Tony, though still so young, had not embraced him so naturally, as if he were family. Then he would not have had the courage, the confidence, or even the reason to stand here on this most important day of his life. Tieu's eyes met Hoai's for a brief moment. She gave a small nod, just a slight tilt, yet to him, it was the most beautiful blessing he could ever receive. At that moment, tieu, standing beside him, gently reached for his hand. Her hand was warm, small, but carried an oddly powerful strength. That simple touch was enough to pull him back from the overwhelming tide of emotions rising inside him. "Today is a happy day," she whispered softly. "Everything is all right." Tieu turned to look at her. In the glow of the warm lights, her face shone with a quiet radiance, not the grandeur of a stage, but the kind of beauty that belonged to someone who had chosen to stay by his side even when he was still the imperfect version of himself. He smiled, a gentle smile shaped by the years he had lived through. "Yeah. I'm really lucky today." The words were simple, but they held everything he felt. Lucky to be standing here, lucky to be loved again, and lucky to have people who had become anchors for him as he rebuilt his life. Around them, the breeze brushed past, making the strings of light sway softly. And in that small, fragile moment, Tieu felt his heart grow lighter, as if it had never carried any weight at all. As the sun slowly slipped behind the distant treetops, the sky shifted into a velvety blend of purple and soft orange. The natural light faded, giving way to strands of warm yellow lights that lit up across the garden. Each tiny bulb shimmered like a fallen star, casting a gentle glow over everyone and transforming the ceremony into something both dreamlike and elegant. The background music began, soft as the whisper of an early summer breeze. A slow, tender melody drifted through the air, guiding each person's footsteps as if the music itself were celebrating the happiness of the moment. From the end of the aisle, tieu appeared. She walked slowly, her hand resting in the hand of a family member, her posture a blend of nervousness and a natural, effortless radiance. Her white veil swayed delicately with every step, catching the light and making her look as though she were passing through a ribbon of soft, glowing air. Her face shone, her eyes sparkling with happiness and restrained emotion as she tried not to let tears fall too soon. At the front, Tieu stood tall, his fingers interlocked behind his back. He nearly stopped breathing when he saw her approaching. In that fleeting moment, his heart pounded so loudly he felt as though the entire garden could hear it. All the mistakes of his past, all the heavy roads he had dragged himself through, seemed to dissolve, leaving only the woman walking toward him, the one with whom he wished to build a peaceful future. Then, the special guest of the ceremony made his entrance. Tony. The little boy, dressed in a tiny cream-colored suit with his hair neatly brushed, took small, determined steps along the petal-covered path. In his hands, he held a tiny ring box, clutched tightly as if it were a precious treasure. His face was adorably serious, his round eyes fixed straight ahead on Tieu as though he were carrying out the most important mission of his life. Every step Tony took made the guest smile, not in amusement, but in affection for the pure innocence and charm that only a child could bring. Some guests covered their mouths to stifle their laughter, others lifted their phones to record, while Hoai simply shook her head with a proud smile she could not hide. The entire ceremony seemed to soften as Tony passed by, the warm lights catching the top of his hair, making him look like a little angel sent to bring good fortune to the couple. And when he reached Tieu, Tony's eyes lit up, as if he knew he had nearly completed his mission and felt prouder than anyone else there. The garden filled with happy laughter, blending with the gentle music, creating a scene so beautiful that anyone who witnessed it would remember it for a long time. No microphones. No stage. No showers of flowers or loud cheers like the extravagant weddings people often imagine. There were only two people standing face to face, under warm yellow lights gently swaying in the breeze, with the darkening sky behind them forming the softest, most natural velvet curtain a ceremony could ever have. The lights draped over their shoulders, wrapping them in a tender, glowing halo. A breeze swept through the garden, stirring the veils, tablecloths, and the edge of the wedding gown. The music was not loud, just a quiet breath blending into the evening. Everything came together to create a peace so profound that anyone standing within it would feel their heart grow lighter. Du looked at Tieu for a long time, longer than any moment before. In his eyes, there was no trace of the darkness from his past mistakes, no heaviness of a man who once lost himself. Only gratitude remained, pure, overwhelming, and so sincere that it made his heart tremble. He took a deep breath, then spoke. His voice shook slightly, but his words were so honest that everyone nearby could hear the emotion breaking gently with each syllable. "Thank you, for giving me the chance to be a good man again." His voice was not loud, yet it resonated clearly in the quiet space. It was not just a message for Tieu. It was also a message to the version of himself from the past, the man who once believed there was no way back. Tieu did not hesitate. She lifted her hand and held his, squeezing gently, a promise stronger than any long speech he might have waited for. "Not just once," she said softly, but with firm certainty. "From today on, every day is a new beginning." Du's eyes grew slightly red. But this time, the reason was not sadness, it was a happiness so full he could not hide it. Behind them, Hung stood quietly. He said nothing, only nodded, slow and sincere, as if to say he agreed wholeheartedly, and that he had witnessed Du's transformation with his own eyes. Hoai stood beside Hung. The warm lights illuminated her face, making her gentle smile even softer. There was no tension, no trace of past distance, only peace, and the sense that everyone was standing exactly where they were meant to be, at exactly the moment life had chosen. In that moment, a breeze passed through, the lights shimmered brighter, as if nature itself were smiling in blessing. When the ceremony ended, the warm yellow lights above continued to shimmer, as though they wanted to hold on to the sweet echo of the vows just spoken. Guests gathered around the tables draped in white cloth, glasses clinking together with a soft, clear sound beneath the night sky. The breeze carried a hint of evening chill, yet the warmth in everyone's smiles wrapped the atmosphere in an invisible blanket of comfort. Hung walked over to Du, lifting his glass slightly. The lights illuminated his face, highlighting the sincerity in every line. He did not say much. Instead, he placed a hand on Du's shoulder, firm but warm, the kind of gesture a man gives another man after witnessing his journey of growth. "Wishing you both happiness," Hung said, his voice steady and mature. He paused for a moment, then added, "And thank you for always thinking of Tony." It was not small talk. It was genuine acknowledgement, gratitude from a father, and from someone who had watched Du struggle and rebuild himself from the ground up. Du tapped his glass lightly against Hung's. His eyes reddened slightly, not from alcohol, but from the emotion tightening in his chest. Still, he kept smiling, a sincere smile he had not worn so fully in a very long time. "Tony is my son," he said, voice husky with emotion. "And he is also your son. I want him to have everything." The words sounded simple, yet they held acceptance, respect, and a quiet gratitude, things Du had never spoken aloud before. Hoai, standing beside Hung, felt her expression soften. She knew how many layers of emotion and pride Du had to push through to say that. She raised her glass with a playful smile. "On Du, you look really handsome today." The seemingly casual comment made everyone laugh. The slightly emotional scene suddenly lightened like a breeze rustling through the leaves. Tieu laughed until she leaned to one side, Du blushed but smiled even wider, and Hung chuckled, shaking his head as if to say, "Hoai has never changed, always knowing how to ease a heavy moment. In that moment, there were no distances between them, no roles, no past mistakes dividing them. There were only people who had weathered storms together, chosen forgiveness, and now stood side by side like a true extended family. The light swayed gently in the wind, glasses clinked, and warm laughter echoed. All of it came together to create a night so beautiful one would wish it could last forever. As gentle laughter lingered beneath the warm string lights and the celebration slowly came to an end, everyone remained together, savoring a rare moment of peace. Tony rested comfortably in Hung's arms, rubbing his eyes sleepily. Tieu leaned lightly against Du's shoulder, and Hoai stood beside them, watching with a tenderness that felt almost unreal. A complete evening. A simple wedding, yet overflowing with warmth. And above all, a new chapter quietly unfolding for all of them. A soft narration closes the video. Today's story ends here. But the journey of Du and Tieu, and of the family of Hoai and Hung, still holds many surprises ahead. What will happen next after this heartfelt wedding? Stay tuned for the next episode to continue following their story. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment to support the channel.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Đang quay 1 phút nối đường mà nghĩ đến chồng mới mắc cười. Không nghĩ là trên con đeo thời Napoleon mà chúng tôi có thể viết code được. Chuẩn bị không còn là coder nữa mà thành leader. Chị biết thành leader không? Leader là thằng cao cấp hơn đấy. Chuẩn bị nhận viết tuôn thuê thôi. Kiếm mấy chục củ thôi. Giỏi thế mà biết. Ha ha ha.